Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight, day number 146. Whew. I've had quite a day, and you guys will see it. I don't even have the gel in my hair, but everything's good. Today I had to do quite a bit of work in the studio. I'll give you that right there. Look how clean, pretty. Had to redo the network, had to redo everything and get it all adjusted. It was a major day, and to be quite honest with you, I didn't know if I was going to make it there or not in time, but we made it and we're ready for the full update. So welcome to all of you for being here. As always, thank you for taking time out of your evening. It is 9:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:03 in California, 4:03 a.m. in Ukraine. Yes, I do have an update from Jania tonight. A really strange one, but I think you guys will enjoy it as we continue to serve refugee children there from Kramatorsk and Slavyansk and Kharkiv. So it's super. So thank you as always. If you saw the title of the program tonight, NATO is challenged twice today. That's going to be very interesting. One comes from Jens Stoltenberg. I have much more respect for Jens Stoltenberg today, the Secretary General of NATO, after he dropped some truth on everyone. So very thankful for that. Also, there was some talk about NATO coming out of this summit in Tehran, Iran, with Russia, Iran, and Turkey. What a mess, but we'll talk about it. So thank you for being here, and God bless all of you. Going to be a great evening. Getting lots of traction and things are good. So thank you. I want to start tonight right here with, not there. I want to start with actually that one. Kherson. I want to talk about Kherson. I want to talk about the Antonisky bridge. I'm going to show you where it is in just a moment, but it was struck today by Ukraine. Ukraine hit this bridge. Awesome job, guys. That was vital. Now, it is not destroyed, but it is damaged, and Ukraine is showing that with the right equipment, the right weapons, they are able to do the job. I was watching one video clip earlier this morning, working in the studio, and it was a Brit talking, and he was in Ukraine. And he says, I've been here the entire time since the war started, and I've been serving part of the Foreign Legion here. And when this war started, these Ukrainian soldiers were really not that good. But in 146 days, they have become professionals because they are fighting for their homeland. They are listening to us. They are learning. You only have to tell them once. Their movements are right. How, all of the strategy and tactics of warfare, especially the urban and ground warfare. This was infantry talking, and it was just an amazing testimony. The same thing is happening here with Ukraine's ability to strike precision targets. So I want to go over here. Yeah, Ricochet, I think that would be spot on. That's a test run for better things. So let's go over here, and here, I'm going to show it to you. Really cool. And I'm going to show you why this was important. So this is Kherson, and of course, down from Mykolaiv. And where was this bridge struck? It was struck on the M17. Remember the names for highways there in Ukraine, the major ones, not only Ukraine, but other nations as well there in Europe, Soviet, Russia. They'll start with letters. M is a pretty popular one. So the M17, the important thing about the M17 is that it is a main route. Look here. Out of Crimea. This is a main supply line, especially where they're trying to get up and support the front lines here as they're pushing on Mykolaiv. So Ukraine struck this bridge. This is a very large bridge. Let me give you this view. We'll go right down. So Kherson is here. We go up river, up the Dnipro, and we come to the town of Antonivka in Ukrainian, and just a couple of miles north of Kherson. Well, major major bridge, Antonisky Bridge. I'm going to show you guys. This will be interesting for you. Let's take our little guy here, and we can drop him right on the bridge. And you can see, well, the bridge is a little rusty, and I guess our guy is standing on the outside of the bridge, but you can see this is the size of the river here. This is not a joke. So when we talk about needing access to cross these rivers, especially the Dnipro, the Dnieper, however you want to refer to it, it is a major job. And you can see just a little bit of the Ukrainian hillside, countryside. I'm sure there's a nice fish right there into those lily pads. But this is the bridge that was struck. So we are very, very encouraged by that. And I think the good thing is that they're showing they're able to do it. So hopefully it's going to be better things coming. That bridge right there is vital. I mean, vital. Now, confirmed for sure. Yesterday we were telling you that appears the Russians were starting to unpause their technical pause there for ground movements. And today we do have confirmation. Ground forces are moving, but they're only moving against 2 targets in everything that I have. They're not pushing down towards Slavyansk, of course, from the north. Of course, they want Slavyansk, of course, Kramatorsk, but they're pushing on at the south there. And remember, that is the M20. So you had the M17 in Kherson. You've got the M20 there coming up through that region there with Kramatorsk and Slavyansk. But Bakhmut is being pushed on with ground forces. And additionally, Severodvinsk. Of course, you guys remember that would be the city that we have served, you and I, through Zhenya and the team there in that city. So Severodvinsk is being pushed on with ground movement, not just shelling, and Bakhmut is being pushed on with ground movement, not just shelling. So those are the 2 things there. Now, I want to show you something else that's very interesting. I want to show you the morning newspaper from Zaporozhye. Now, I actually could just go back over here for this. Let me change it to this layer. Let's go here. So you have Zaporozhye here in the middle. And Zaporozhye is completely under Ukrainian control. Now, the line there at Energodar, I'm pushing on that for you. They're hitting, of course, into Nikopol, and they're firing into Zaporozhye and shelling. It's only 30 miles. But morning newspaper in Zaporozhye is this. And, of course, there are multiple publications there, but we've got Putin on the front. And the title of that is Zaporozhye News. Now, the headline in red, and this is a pro-Russia article, says "Мы вместе, мы один народ." That is written in the Russian language, not the Ukrainian language. And it says, "We are together, and then we are one nation." So you see the word "мы," that's we, "вместе" with the B, it's a V, that is we are together, and then "мы," we, один, one, narod, nation. We are together and we're one nation. That is what people are waking up to in Zaporozhye, and we know that that is not true. Now, today, also, the big deal that happened in Turkey, and I can show you this. This is sickening. And somebody please explain to me, hey there, Bob Piccirilli. Somebody please explain to me Turkey. I mean, I'm thinking about pulling out my turkey calls and starting to gobble and cluck, because this is sickening. What you're getting ready to see is sickening. Turkey currently is an ally of NATO. Turkey currently is pushing even harder for the freeze on Finland and Sweden, and more importantly, Sweden. But regardless, both nations being frozen right now out of joining NATO. And, well, I'll just let you see it. That was after their meeting. Now, maybe I'm wrong and maybe I just don't understand, but it looks to me like Iran's in the center there, of course, being the host, and they're holding hands with Putin and Erdogan. Now, I can understand. No, I can't even understand. Forget it. There is a terrorist dictator, one person over from you, Mr. Erdogan, Mr. NATO, supplying Ukraine with weapons and having the joint photo op. That's holding hands without holding hands. Yeah, it's just, it's unacceptable. Now, I did, and I was able, I mean, really, the studio's been turned upside down, which is going to be a big help for more things we're going to be able to do on the program. Like, did some major stuff today. But I watched the press reports, and I watched some of the interviews post this meeting. And I can tell you, here's some of the things. They discussed terrorism in Syria. Now, just listen. We've got terrorist activity happening in Ukraine every hour, I don't want to say every minute, I want to be accurate, every hour, every day, nonstop. But these three guys are there discussing the terrorism in regard to Syria. Secondly, Erdogan on the right, he informs Iran and he informs Russia that Turkey will increase their special operation in northern Syria. We want you to be aware that we are going to step up our special operation. Remember what Zhenya has said many times, and they know. You hear this word, special operation. He says if it's not stopped, other nations are going to do the same. Well, now we have, of course, it's about a month ago, Turkey said they were going to start their special operation in northern Syria, and today they're coming out and informing Iran and Russia that they're going to take it up a notch. Now, so please explain how Erdogan's actions is in accord with the actions of a member of a NATO and Western ally. That's my point exactly. This is unacceptable. I mean, if you're not there discussing ending this war in peace and getting out of Ukraine, then you shouldn't be in that picture as a member of NATO. If that's where you want to be, Mr. Erdogan in Turkey, then leave NATO. That's now the three of them, and I watched this, guys. I watched this. The three of them condemned Israel. I told you, they're not there discussing grain. Iran has nothing to do with the Russian and Ukrainian war on grain and food right now. Nothing to do with it. But all three nations condemned Israel. And do you know what they condemned Israel for? Their attacks on civilians. No, I'm still here. These three nations, Turkey, Iran, and Syria, Erdogan, who knows what he's thinking, Ibrahim Raisi, who is the butcher of Tehran, and of course, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, they're condemning Israel for terrorist activity. And attacking civilians. Fourth, the three nations agreed. Now listen, agreed to work together against global terrorism and plan to meet in Moscow, these three nations again, before the end of 2022. So within the next 5-6 months, these three are going to meet and they're going to work together to combat not only the terrorism in Syria, global terrorism. Now, I'm going to give you a direct quote from Ibrahim Raisi, president of Iran. He said, and this is where NATO gets called out the first time, challenged. He said, NATO desires to start war with Russia. We have seen this. NATO wants to go to war with Russia over Crimea. Fortunately, we are going to stop them from doing that in Ukraine. End quote. I watched it. NATO desires to start war with Russia over Crimea. Fortunately, we will stop them in Ukraine. That was not Putin. That was not Erdogan. That was Raisi. Putin made the statement, we must end not only the Syrian terrorism, but we must end the global terrorism against humanity. And then finally, they made a joint statement together, and they said, in regard to Syria, the United States must leave Syria immediately. I knew this was going to be a meeting, and it is. Now, NATO called out by Raisi. Well, the title of the program tonight is NATO is challenged twice today. Well, who challenged them the second time? The Secretary General. I, today, gained a lot of respect for this man right here, Jens Stoltenberg. I had some people kind of get on me a little bit, and it's okay. I respond, and I always leave them comments and say, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our community. We can see things differently. I got called out on my support of Boris Johnson. But once I explained, I said, it's not about that. It's about having that type of leadership that can, I don't want to say put on the show, but really that's the only thing that Russia understands is that show. Jens Stoltenberg stepped up to the plate. Ladies and gentlemen, he called it like it is today. Check out Jens.
But the price of not supporting them is much higher. Partly because for me this is a moral issue. This is about a sovereign, independent nation with more than 40 million people living in Europe, which is brutally attacked by a big power, Russia. If we don't react to that, and after we have seen what happened in Bucha and other places, it violates my understanding of, decent behavior of neighbors and friends of Ukraine. So of course, yes, it has a price. But not to act and just let that brutality continue and let that brutality of Russia be awarded is for me a higher price. Second, it is in our interest to help Ukraine. Because you have to understand that if Ukraine loses this, that's a danger for us. That will make Europe even more vulnerable for Russian aggression. Because then the lesson learned from Georgia in 2008, from annexing Crimea in 2014, from starting to undermine Donbass in 2014, and then the full-fledged brutal invasion by President Putin in February, is that they can just use force. They get their will. It's to re-establish an idea of spheres of influence, where big powers can decide what smaller neighbors can do. And that will make all of us more vulnerable. So even if you don't care about the moral aspect of this, supporting the people of Ukraine, you should care about your own security interest. So therefore you have to pay. Pay for the support, pay for the humanitarian aid, pay the consequences of the economic sanctions, because the alternative is to pay a much higher price later on. And then remember one thing, yes, we pay a price, but the price we pay as the European Union, as NATO, is a price we can measure in currency, in money. The price they pay is measured in lives, lost every day. So we should just stop complaining and step up and provide support, full stop.
There's that full stop. I told you guys, they love that word, full stop. That means exclamation point. You know, this is all I've been asking for, is 146 days straight. Can somebody stand up and make a statement? And I'm going to tell you, Jens Stoltenberg made the statement. He told, I could watch that 10 times. I've already watched it 5 times today. I'm telling you, Jens Stoltenberg, thank you for telling the truth to the EU and NATO. Pay now or pay later. And stop complaining, you bunch of babies, because you're not paying with your blood and Ukraine is. That, I'm happy hearing that, because that's what the world needs to hear. Not the junk with Erdogan floating around Tehran with Raisi and Putin, and Macron and Schultz can't make up their minds on if they want to be friends with Ukraine, Russia, or just stay in their own kingdom. And many of these other nations are too small, honestly, to have such large impact, other than the bulldogs of the Baltic states. Great Britain right now going through a transition. Italy going through a transition. The United States is in chaos. Jens Stoltenberg, thank you, dear sir. Wow. Sanctions. What did the Lithuanian foreign minister say? Who cares? What sanctions? Take a look at this chart. Crimean port in the city is Sevastopol. 2019, 2020, 2021, exported only 8 tons of grain. 8,000 tons. It's a big difference. 8,000 tons on average per year. Now, who controlled Sevastopol in 2019? Well, Russia did. Who controlled it in 2020 and 21? Russia. There was basically nil on the exports of grain. 2022, only beginning March through June, they've exported over 450,000 tons of grain. So I have a question for the world tonight. What sanctions? Turkey, what are you watching in the Black Sea? There's the numbers. Where do those numbers come from? Bloomberg. Watching the imports, watching the exports. No activity in the 3 years leading up to the war. But now, Sevastopol is rolling. Guys, it's not Ukraine. Help me out, Jeffrey. There we go. It's not Ukraine. It's Russia doing it. So very interesting graphic there. Now, Italy is at it again. I'd like to introduce you tonight to Alessandro Sallusti. In fact, his Twitter is over here. This is him, Alessandro Sallusti. He's a reporter out of Italy, and pretty straight along guy. I was reading through his stuff. Well, he was being interviewed today. by another Italian reporter there in Moscow, giving an update and looking around Red Square, standing in a location I've been at many times. And then this Italian reporter wants to have a chat with this guy, Alessandro Sallusti, who's in Italy. Now, standing beside the Italian reporter are two Russian propagandists. One is actually a Ukrainian Russian who's there and basically a traitor. And secondly, was the king puppet of them all, Solovyov. And if you've been with me nightly, of course, you know who Solovyov is. You'll see him standing there in a little image. There were a couple of choice words, and I covered them up. But Alessandro Sallusti told it how it was. I think we've had some encouraging stuff today. Here's Alessandro.
Tutti benvenuti a Mosca, siamo nel cuore della capitale russa, quella che vedete è una fotografia che tutto il mondo conosce. Laggiù in fondo c'è la Piazza Rossa, quelle che vedete adesso invece sono le mura che circondano il Cremlino, il palazzo dove vive Vladimir Putin. Allora, io faccio entrare anche, come sapete, Vladimir Solovyov, che anche lui è qui, e con me c'è anche Vakharov, il professor Vakharov, che di passaporto ucraino vive in Russia.
No, guarda Massimo, mi ritrovo in un asservimento totale alla peggiore propaganda che ci possa essere. Quel palazzo che tu hai alle spalle, e faresti bene a ricordarlo a chi ti sta di fianco, è il palazzo dove sono stati organizzati, decisi e messi in pratica i peggiori crimini contro l'umanità del secolo scorso e di questo secolo. Quello è un palazzo di merda. Tu dovresti avere il coraggio di dire ai tuoi interlocutori che il palazzo che hai alle spalle è un palazzo di merda, perché lì il comunismo ha fatto le più grandi tragedie del secolo scorso e di questo secolo. Io di fare la foglia di fico a quegli altri due coglioni che hai di fianco non ci sto, e per cui mi alzo, rinuncio al compenso patuito, ma a questa sceneggiata io non voglio più partecipare. Grazie.
Allora, voglio aggiungere...
Alessandro Sallusti? He said, listen, what are you doing surprising me? You're not going to have Solovyov and a traitor on talking with me. I'm not going to talk. And he told it how it was. Listen. Between Jen Stoltenberg and that guy right there, Alessandro Sallusti, there's been some truth told in the last few hours. So thank you to those guys for standing for the truth. And more than ever now, it must happen, because when you have this, you better have this, people telling the truth. We better pay attention to what happened between Turkey, Iran, and Russia. You're going to hear more about that. So there you have it. Jeffrey, I see you doing your thing there, man. Thank you so much. Now, how about an update from our refugee camp on the Nestor? For those of you that are joining from other locations, Reddit, we not only update, but we support our humanitarian effort there. We have an NGO, non-governmental organization, charity funds, and coming up this Sunday, we're going to have a huge auction raising more funds for Ukraine, and I plan on being there very, very soon. So we're also boots on the ground there and been working there for, well, you count Larry, over 30 years. So we're very thankful. But today I'm working in the studio and frantic because I'm rearranging. We're redoing all the network. I'm talking to my broadcast guy, Stephen Haywood. It was a major adjustment today, which you have to do every so often, 146 days in a row streaming, and I hadn't done the maintenance work in the studio. It's all done now. So I'm in the middle of doing that, literally on my knees, grabbing a cable under my desk, and Zhenya calls me. And he says, man, turn the green room on. It's almost bedtime here, and some kids want to say hello to you. I said, okay, well, they're not going to say hello to me. They're going to say hello to everybody. So, folks, right now, 4:32 a.m. in Ukraine, these kids are sleeping. But these kids are there from the frontline war zone cities. They are refugees. Many of these kids, I was talking more to Zhenya about it, many of these kids were basement dwellers, meaning for months living under the barrage of shelling, missiles, and life in a war zone on a front. They are now in a safer, nothing is safe, but in a safer place enjoying camp. I did ask Zhenya, I said, how long are we going to run this camp for? He goes, we're going all the way until next Monday. We're going to wear these kids out and let them not think about war. So I'm on my knees, working in the studio, getting it done, and Zhenya calls me. Here we go. Some hellos. Всем привет. Всем привет.
А ну, вам говорят привет. Кайте, сядьте, я зараз всім скажу привет.
He said, everybody say hello. Hey, man, how are you?
Wait a minute. Okay, let me
Do what?
put them, make them sitting. Сідайте. Я зараз до кожного підійду, ви можете щось сказати.
So, folks, he's been caught me here working in the studio, getting stuff ready for tonight, cleaning, rearranging, and he calls me from the river. So you've got to drop everything. This is what it looks like in here right now. An absolute disaster, but who cares? All right, where are you at? What's going on?
Hey, we're in the camp, and here we have like a open fire, and kids wanted to say you hi. They're enjoying their evening.
Awesome.
And their time forgot about the war, at least for this short couple days. So let's say.
Well, let's say hello. Привет.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. Hello, buddy. Hi. Hello, friend. New York hat.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, this is Vanya Gladishuk.
Ah, добро пожаловать. Наш camp.
No, Serежа, я... Посади, wait a minute, it's craziness.
Well, they're crazy.
He brought some bread and they want to cook it,
They want to cook
Basically burn
bread.
it on the fire.
Okay, well, we can cook bread.
Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Hello.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Да.
49. Сколько лет тебе?
Скажи.
А, говорил английский со мной, я поговорю по-русски с тобой. Хорошо. Сколько лет тебе, мальчик? Молодой человек, солнышко моя.
Okay.
Солнышко моя. I just called him my little sunshine. Hello, my friend. Welcome. I'm sitting in a puddle of water. Hey. Voi lampa bomba.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome. Добро пожаловать. Молчи. Hello, my friend. Oh, nice headlight. Super.
Do you remember Vitaliy?
Как возможно не? Я не забыл. Привет, дорогой. Ты как?
Привет.
Послушай меня. Скоро я буду там. Сентябрь.
Да?
Первый. Да.
Класс.
Мы работаем вместе до победы. We work
Класс.
together until
Слава
victory.
Господу.
Hello.
Okay.
Look at Vitaliy, man. Kruta. Now we have a nice view of the dark there. The river. Hey. Привет, привет.
Hi, you beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You are beautiful too.
You're beautiful too. Okay, yes.
Да, очень... А я сказал, она красива,
Ну,
да, правильно, я сказал.
трошки зробити тихіше. Я дуже прошу.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. Nravится? Nravится count.
Hello.
Oh. Hello, my friend. How are you? I'm good. Skoro budu tam.
How are you?
Super.
Good.
Но будет лучше, когда мы имеем победы. We'll all be much better when we have victory. И мы будем. And we will.
Hello.
Давай.
Hello, hello, hello. Хорошее время там.
Хорошее время тут.
Здесь есть хорошее время.
Super. He said this is having a good time.
Yes. So it looks like
Awesome.
this.
And now we're cooking bread. Love it.
Oh, that, yes, cooking bread.
Да, я хочу хлеб.
Да, come.
Да, скоро, скоро, скоро. Soon, soon.
So here we have some fun and okay, kids are asking why you're still in United States.
Why am I still here?
Yeah, yes, in United States.
Because
Why not here?
Skora. Just tell them soon.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
That's it.
Thank you for the check-in.
Bye.
Da. Love you guys. Пока.
Bye.
So there you have it. And I see you guys chatting. It's just many of those kids, frontline cities, living in basements. Now, literally, now not at that exact spot, but that is exactly what it looks like on the Nestor where they're at. The hillside comes down, the camp is there on the river. It's beautiful. And these kids are cooking bread on an open fire. So that is a blessing. And guys, we could not do it without you. I just want you to know you helped pay for that every dime. The fuel, food, entertainment, just getting those refugee kids out there. Thank you very much. If those smiles and those eyes don't move you, there's not any move in you. So there you have it, folks. That is the full update tonight, day 146. Really a good day. Good day at our refugee camp. Yes, we're in the middle of a war. Yes, cities were hit. Yes, boots are moving in the east. But Jen's made me smile today. And Italian reporter made me smile today. And you made me smile today as well for being here. Anything for older teens? Yeah. So just so you know, and I see the question there. So typically when we're in a non-war situation, the NGO, the non-governmental organization, the charity fund that we have there, it's called Territory of Light. We actually own that campground. Now, it's not a campground. It's just land. It's ours. It's not government land. We've been having camps there for 20 years. So typically in a normal summer, it's a nonstop machine running, taking kids from all over Ukraine and giving them a week of summer camp. And there's 6 different camps for all age groups. Of course, right now, a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of our volunteers they're refugees themselves and they're gone, you know. So I'm sure, if possible, we'll continue to do it. We probably have about 2 more months of good weather. So death and destruction brought to you by the letter M and the number 270. Yeah, good stuff. All right, my friends, be blessed. That is the full update, and we'll see you in 23 hours. Thank you as always, and continue to pray for Ukraine. We'll have more on our auction and all the things coming up this weekend. In fact, we're going to live stream that, but we're working on it. Keep you updated. Be blessed. Peace to you and peace to Ukraine. See you in 23 hours. Good night.